Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of August 2nd through the 8th. And during that time, we have a waning gibbous moon to start us off during the first part of the week. That's a really good time of self-reflection and rebirth. We're making positive changes, and we're also getting rid of bad habits and negative thinking. We then run into the third quarter moon, which happens on the 6th or 7th, depending on where you are. And that is a time for those things start to come to fruition. Those things that we were working on at the start of the cycle are starting to, we're starting to gain our full potential. So we're also going to start, making that evaluation. Like the new moon is now approaching for next week. Are we going to continue? Like, did we finish the things that we started, or do we need to make those adjustments and then restart them on the next new moon? So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter, Capricorn. So, as always, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't here on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is to work through your fears. All right, let's see what the Capricorn Collective has going on for the week. As I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder for you this week is that you pay attention to the universe when it comes to synchronicity. So this could be repeating numbers. This could be just synchronistic happenings. Like maybe you think of an old friend and they shoot you a text or call you, or you bump into them and you're like, oh, I was just thinking about you. There's usually some bigger reason for that. So, those kinds of synchronicities, it could be an overheard conversation, maybe a song that comes on that takes you somewhere in your mind, that reminds you of something. So just pay attention to the synchronicities a little bit more this week and see if there's some breadcrumbs out there that the universe is trying to offer you. So, all right, let's get into this reading. Capricorn, August 2nd through the 8th. Work through your fears. And your overall present energy right now is the Ace of Pentacles. So there might be some new financial opportunity that's coming in for you, and it's making you a little bit fearful. You're a little afraid of it. Is it an investment that you're a little, leery about? It could be just some new job that you're taking on and you're like, oh, can I do this job? I applied for this job. I got this job, and here I am. Now I have to do it. So whatever it is, we're just going to work through those fears through the week, right? Let's see what your current situation right now is. The Two of Swords. So, Two of Swords is about not making a decision until you really do think something through. So if you're in a fear area, there's something that you're like kind of, and it could be an either or situation that you're like, oh, I really, it's like walking that tightrope. You got to make sure that you're making the right decision. There's something like the consequences could be pretty big. And that's, I'm sure it would bring up some fear. I'd be afraid myself. So let's see what the reading says as we come out. Maybe we can help you manage that in some way here. So some sort of decision that you're having to make, and it could be financial with this Ace of Pentacles coming in. At the root of your situation is the Four of Cups that I swear I've seen this in every reading. The root of your situation, and this is my take on the Four of Cups for a now. This is kind of a new, this card, we're taught as tarot readers that this card is about just kind of being not real excited about whatever the universe is offering you. And I have recently it has become apparent to me, and different things that have come up, is that sometimes we take the thing that we don't, and not that we don't want, it's like a stepping stone, that what the universe is offering you, even though it's not the final reward, the final place that you're trying to get to, it's a stepping stone. And oftentimes we're saying no to the stepping stone. So I feel like I've been led to tell people this week, I did a lot of in-person readings this week as well, and a lot of people have had this card come up. So sometimes saying yes to the thing that doesn't seem like the end result for you is a stepping stone to that end result. So pay attention to that when you're making this decision. It might be, that you have an end goal in mind, and what you're being offered isn't quite it yet, but don't say no to it, I guess is what I'm saying. In your recent past here, as you're coming out of an area here of rest and meditation, you also now have two fours on the table. So please look up angel number 44. We'll see if more fours come out, but you're coming in out of an area where you're clear of mind. You're coming into this that you're restful, you're meditating. It's like you're ready to work, right? So let's see what's on your mind this week is the King of Cups. So you're also very emotionally stable. You're very I'm going to say open emotionally, but you're not making rash decisions based on emotion. You're very balanced. And if you look at the water, the water suit that he's wearing here, just calm water, he's in complete command of his emotions. So you're not making quick decisions based upon emotion. Look at the calm water that she's sitting into. Okay, let's keep going. We're going to, again, working through your fears. You're very calm about everything at the moment. At what's just ahead of you is the Three of Wands. So, Three of Wands is about new ventures, new things. So, you're definitely thinking about it. I mean, obviously, we know with this too. So, I guess it's going to come down to this question is what are you afraid of? What is it out there? And maybe if you have two different choices here, it's time to just do that real basic pro and con sheet. The pros of making this decision and the cons. And then maybe there's a different decision. If I go this route, what are the pros and cons there? And you just start kind of, I'm seeing that there's maybe some logic that might need to come in. We'll see. I would be very curious if maybe like the King of Swords came out to help us. Let's see what other energy elements come out to help you in this situation. Okay, I'm very curious to see this next card. In your advice position. Oh, look at this. Okay, so Five of Wands. So the advice is to debate about it. So I guess if there's other people involved, you need to get some people involved. You need to have conversations. This doesn't, fives can be cards of conflict, but in this case, I think it's about, debating what the best end result is. And if this is like a work situation, this is when you would gather the best minds and say, okay, we've got this path or this path, let's hash this all out together. And you've got people that are really at the top of their game that know what they're talking about. But and it might just be things that you're tossing around with your friends, with your family. What is the best option for me at this point? I'm at this decision point and I'm a little afraid because the decision I make affects my finances. It's a financial decision, this thing that's coming in. What is beyond your control this week is the Page of Wands. And this would be that you would nurture some new passion. So, whatever decision you make seems like it is going to be kind of a new thing for you to nurture and build upon. And that's okay, but that's beyond your control this week. What is your secret desire or what are you trying to avoid? And this would be the Six of Swords. So let's clarify all of this. This card is kind of your big question of the week. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just those things that you debate and you ask yourself this question in the different ways that I'll frame it for you and then understand your answer. There's no right or wrong. Six of Swords is about moving calmly into the future with new thoughts and new ideas. Is that your secret desire? Or are you trying to avoid that for some reason or another? So ask yourself that question, and this would be just new things that you've maybe ideas that are not, I'm going to go back to this guy. Maybe it's ideas and things that are not quite the end result, but can you see them as the stepping stone to the possible end result that's going to be coming up for you? So, we can make goals for the future. We can make goals and say, okay, in 5 years, I want to be here. In 10 years, I want to be here. And then at least you have a direction to go, right? You're working towards those goals. Now, you might in 5 years get there and go, well, that's not really what I wanted because now you've learned things and your direction or your goal set has changed. So you just kind of readjust. You keep readjusting until you get to the place where you want to be. So that's all you need to do. What is in your outcome position here is also the Page of Swords. So, working through your fears in this, and I understand it because I feel like, these pages are our youth and they represent new paths, like nurturing something new, communicating in a new way, having new messaging come in, thinking in a new way. And when you're making a decision like this, it's almost like the old or the new. Which way do I go? The thing that I know or breaking out to see that thing through that's new to me, which that can be fearful, right? Especially for Capricorns, you guys are very goal setting, but setting off to do that new thing, it is a little bit, there's more fear there instead of taking the path that you already knew. So I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of weeks and maybe even in your hidden card to see like the Fool card that you would take this new journey. Um, but I don't know, you might stay where you are, and either way is fine. There's no right or wrong there. But I do think you're being encouraged to kind of take that new thing, to not just do the age old, oh, well, this is the most, I don't know, the most secure thing, the way I've done it in the past. It's almost like the cards are encouraging you to take the new way. So, what is hidden from you here at the bottom of the deck is a little bit of grief and sadness, which is good. We don't want that this week. That's one of the good places for me to have that card. I mean, there's a few, I'd like to see that card there. The devil, the tower card, there's some kind of, cards that have a little bit more of a negative connotation that I'm okay when they're hidden from us. So, but what that does also, it puts 2 5s on the table. So I want you to look up angel number 44 and angel number 55 and see, let those words with those angel numbers kind of guide you too. So let's get you a final message here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final message for Capricorn as they go through working through these fears. All right, and your card is to find your backbone. Okay, very interesting. Find your backbone. Where is it? And maybe in this debate, and I wanted to say too, with that 5 of Wands there, that sometimes debate, of course, hold your ground, but especially if you're exploratory right now, you really do need to listen to what other people are saying and take it into account. So debate, should be about holding your ground, but also about learning and listening to others. So, all right, what does Capricorn need to do in the way of self-care for the week? Self-care for Capricorn, and the card that you get is the card called Surrender. Look at that beautiful little angel card. Stop trying to control life. It gets in the way of divine intervention. I love this card. I don't think I've ever even seen that in a reading. I'm sure I read that card at some point, but stop trying to control everything. Very interesting. Are you going to take that path of, I know exactly how to do this thing because I've done it in the past? Or are you kind of, going to let go and trying to control everything so that divine intervention, like I said, maybe saying yes to something now means yes to the bigger thing that you actually do want. Like if the universe is trying to help you, but you keep saying no to a thing. So Capricorn, I'm very curious about this reading. If you are comfortable sharing with me, drop me a comment down below. Let me know if there's something that resonated here that you're going through. As a reader, it's fun for me to read the comments and see what you guys might be going through. So if you're comfortable sharing, of course, please do that. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe is very helpful to me. Some of you have been doing that and I appreciate it. So also, if you're already subscribed, hitting like also helps me here on YouTube. So thank you so much, Capricorn. Good luck with all of this, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.